Why Aussies love going barefoot. It's totally normal here. Alright mates, let's get straight into it. Today we're diving into something that every Australian knows, but the rest of the world finds a little bit surprising, even shocking at times. And that is, why do Aussies love being barefoot? Now this might sound like a simple question, but when you look closely, the Aussie barefoot lifestyle is actually a window into the culture, the climate, the history, and even the unique sense of freedom that Australians hold close to their hearts. So if you've ever wondered why so many Aussies walk into the supermarket barefoot, why kids play at school without shoes, and why you'll spot people strolling down the beachside streets without a single thong, or flip-flop as the rest of the world calls it, then stick around. Because by the end of this video you'll not only understand why it's so normal here, but you might even feel proud of this very Aussie quirk. And hey, before we get too deep into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. More importantly, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you often go barefoot? Do you think it's an Aussie thing or just a personal choice? Maybe you've got a funny barefoot story to share. Drop it down below and let's get chatting. First, let's talk about the climate. One of the most obvious reasons is that Australia is warm for most of the year. In many parts of the country, especially coastal areas, the weather is hot, the sand is inviting, and the grass is soft under your feet. Shoes almost feel unnecessary. Compare that with countries that get snow for half the year. You wouldn't catch someone in Canada or Norway popping down to the shops barefoot in winter. But in Australia it feels natural. There's also a cultural attitude tied to this. Australians are known for being laid back, casual and practical. Shoes, in a way, represent formality and restrictions. Going barefoot represents freedom, relaxation, and a connection to the land. And this isn't new. If you look back at Indigenous Australian traditions, going barefoot was the natural way of life. Shoes were not needed to connect with the environment, to walk on the land, to feel the ground. Now, fast forward to modern-day Australia. Barefoot culture really shines through in childhood. Think back to your school days. How many times did kids kick their shoes off at lunch to run around the oval or play handball on the concrete? And even if the rules technically required shoes, let's be honest, most kids broke those rules. Playing barefoot meant freedom, and it also meant fewer chances of losing your shoes in a muddy puddle or having sand in your sneakers forever. This childhood barefoot habit often sticks with Aussies into adulthood. By the time you're grown, walking barefoot doesn't feel weird, it feels normal. If anything, wearing shoes all the time feels like the strange thing. But here's where it gets interesting. Other cultures sometimes view the Aussie barefoot life as strange, even uncivilized. I've seen countless online discussions where tourists say, "I couldn't believe I saw someone shopping barefoot at Woolies." Or, "Why are all the kids at the park without shoes? Is that safe?" For Aussies, the reaction is often, "Mate, it's just shoes, relax." And to be fair, Aussies have a point. Going barefoot is often healthier than people think. Studies have shown that walking barefoot can strengthen your feet, improve balance, and even connect you with nature through something called grounding or earthing. Not that every Aussie walking barefoot is doing it for health benefits, they're mostly doing it for comfort and convenience, but it's a nice bonus to mention. Of course, let's not ignore the dangers. Australia is famous for having all sorts of critters and nasties: spiders, snakes, bull ants, bindis in the grass. And don't even get me started on stepping on Lego at home barefoot, that's probably more painful than a snake bite. Yet despite the risks, Aussies still embrace barefoot life. Some would even argue that the occasional stubbed toe or sharp pebble builds resilience. And then there's the hot pavement in summer. Every Aussie has done the barefoot sprint across a car park in January. You know the one, the ground is so hot you feel like you're walking across lava, and you're hopping from one foot to the other like a contestant in some weird Olympic sport. That's a barefoot memory almost every Aussie can relate to. Now, one of the most iconic barefoot places is, of course, the beach. Australia has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and most Aussies live near the coast. Going barefoot to the beach and then casually walking into the fish and chip shop afterwards is part of the culture. No one looks twice at you for walking in with sandy feet. This beach barefoot culture extends inland too. People will often just run errands barefoot after the beach, supermarket, petrol station, you name it. Tourists might stare, but locals just shrug. Shoes are optional. Another layer to this is sport. Backyard cricket, footy in the park, running around in summer, all of it is often done barefoot. There's something about kicking a ball around on the grass without shoes that just feels right. Even professional athletes like rugby players often talk about how much barefoot play they did as kids, and how it helped develop their agility. And let's not forget the practical side. Thongs or flip-flops are the next best thing to barefoot, but if you're only ducking outside quickly, why bother? Most Aussies will admit they've taken the rubbish bin out barefoot, watered the garden barefoot, or walked across the street barefoot. It's just quicker and easier. But while Aussies see it as normal, there are some social and health considerations. Some businesses, especially in the cities, don't appreciate customers turning up without shoes. You might see signs that say, "No shoes, no service." Though to be honest, in most suburban areas, people get away with it. It's one of those unspoken, "it's fine as long as it's casual" rules. Health experts sometimes warn about infections or injuries, especially in public spaces. And yes, stepping on a rusty nail barefoot is no joke. But Aussies generally trust their instincts and the toughness of their feet. Some even joke that years of barefoot walking give you Aussie leather soles. So why is this video important for you? Because whether you're Aussie or not, understanding the barefoot culture tells you a lot about Australian values. It's about comfort over formality, freedom over restrictions, and being practical about when shoes are truly necessary. It's also about community because no one's judging you for rocking up barefoot. It's accepted that it's part of the culture. For Australians watching, this video is also a chance to reflect on how unique this is. You might think it's normal because you've grown up with it, but to the rest of the world it's fascinating. It's one of those little quirks that make Australian life special. At the end of the day, the barefoot Aussie lifestyle is more than just a habit. It's a cultural marker. It says, "We value freedom. We're relaxed. We're connected to the land." And while yes, there are risks and times when shoes are absolutely necessary, the fact that barefoot life is still alive and well in modern Australia says a lot about the spirit of this country. So next time you head out barefoot, just remember you're not being lazy. You're being Aussie. And that's it for today's deep dive into the Aussie love for barefoot life. If you enjoyed this, don't forget